In less than an hour, the President's Deficit Commission is going to announce the final vote on their debt reduction plan. It needs the approval of 14 of the 18 members to be sent on to Congress. Joining us this morning to share his vote, his thoughts, Senator Ken Conrad joins us. In addition to serving on the President's panel, he obviously heads the Senate Budget Committee. Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's get the deficit vote out of the way, and then we can turn to jobs. How are you going to come down?
I announced 2 days ago that I would support the proposal that has been put before us by the co-chairs because it reduces the debt $4 trillion over the next 10 years and makes major steps towards reforming our outdated, inefficient, and ineffective tax code to help make us more competitive, create more jobs for the long term, and it restores a 75-year solvency to Social Security. So while there are things in here I don't like, overall, it moves us in the right direction, things that we simply must do to confront the debt threat looming over the country.
Yeah. How many undeclareds are left this morning, Senator? And I guess is it a given that we're going to fall a little bit short of 14?
I think it is given that we will not reach 14. There are 10 now declared publicly in support. We don't know all of the other votes. There are at least 3 who have announced against, maybe more over the night. So I don't think we're going to get to 14, but I do think we're going to have a solid majority of the commission coming out in favor, and I think that creates its own momentum. And by the way, part of this report calls for a partial payroll tax holiday in recognition of continuing weakness in the labor markets, which we saw in the statistics this morning.
That we did. We're still sort of reeling, and I know it's hard to pin legislation to some of the knee-jerk moves that we see in the market, but given the weakness of that November number, would you expect tax cuts to be extended and jobless benefits to be extended?
I do. I've thought that, I think, as you know, for weeks, that both would occur, that unemployment benefits would be extended. They certainly need to be. 2 million people will drop off otherwise. That would create its own problem for the economy. I think it is also very likely that the tax cuts will be extended. Certainly the middle class tax cuts must be extended. And on top of that, that we have something like the Commission is calling for a partial payroll tax holiday to give additional lift, but simultaneously to put in place a long-term deficit and debt reduction plan. I think all of those elements are critical.
I don't want to blow smoke up your nose, Senator, but I mean, you were there early on, and we were down here at, where were we? I guess we were in the Senate chamber, and you said no public option. That's not going to happen. You're going to go with the deficit commission. You know, that's somewhat perilous for you, I would say. And I think maybe you can just say, how long should we extend it for everybody? Should we go 2 years, 3 years? That obviously, what we saw in the House yesterday, and whether you take it up in the Senate and do that, maybe I wouldn't use the words that Senator Boehner said, but we know what it was. Let's get down to brass tacks. Now with this 39,000 jobs, 9.8%, what's the compromise? Do unemployment insurance and do 2 years? Do $1 million? Do what? What would you be for?
Well, I've said all along, and it's controversial. I would extend all of them for a period of time, whether it's a year or 2 years, is less important than tying it to fundamental tax reform to clear out some of the deductions, exclusions, credits, and all the rest so that we can lower rates to improve the competitive position of the United States, including lowering the top corporate rate. But we also have to generate some more revenue. Interestingly enough, by eliminating some of the tax expenditures and lowering rates, you can actually generate more revenue. We've proved in the past that that also helps with economic growth for the long term. And we have got to improve the competitive position of the United States. It is undeniable. And I just hope that this will these most recent numbers will provide a spur. Yes, we need to extend unemployment. Yes, I believe we need a partial payroll tax holiday. But I think we also absolutely need to put in place a long-term debt reduction plan. That's what the Commission has called for, and I support it.
A lot of good work on that commission has been done, Senator, and I'm sure a lot of Americans appreciate it.
Senator Conrad, Senator
Yep,
Gregg.
I know.
He's up in you're up in 2 years, right, Senator?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Still
Some
doing
people-
it. Still
yep,
willing
yep,
to.
still
Senator Gregg,
facing tough votes.
exactly.
I know.
You're in. We need guys in the middle. We need guys like the Senator. That's what I
Yes.
said about blowing smoke. But I mean, I was serious. It's a compliment.
Senator Conrad, thank you.
Yes, thank
we'll
you.
be watching the vote closely. Obviously, Senator Ken Conrad joining us this morning from the Hill.
Because all these guys.